the Jubilee Test at Lord's. A quick glance at the wicket indicated that there wouldn't be very much in it for the bowlers. Although it was damp yesterday, it had rolled out very well today under the effects of the heavy roller, and it seemed likely that it'd be a very, very good batting surface. Here now is Chris Old bowling the second over of the day. Rick McCosker is the batsman. Bowled him in the first blood of the morning to England through Chris Old. Bowling McCosker, who went back at first and then came forward. Might even have given it a little bit of an assist onto the stumps. It's 51 for 2 now, and McCosker is out for 23, bowled by Chris Old. Greg Chappell is 11. There it is again, back, forward, and in fact leaving quite a gap. Oh, he put him down. That was a very sharp chance. Chappell was aiming for that area between the stumps and mid-on. He didn't quite get over it. It may have held up a bit in the pitch, and it went to Underwood's wrong hand, which in fact was his right, and he was going away to his left-hand side. John Lever. Not only has he got a good throwing arm, but he's fairly quick, Lever. Moved very well there down towards the tavern stand. Was able to cut off the 4, but Greg Chappell still picked up 3. No ball called, and I don't think that would have been too far away. They were on their way up for the LBW appeal.
He's come to terms with it this time. And that's going through for 4. In fact, it's only the second boundary in this Australian innings. And we've had to wait 2 3/4 hours for the second boundary. Richie Robinson hit the first very early on in the Australian innings. Cut described in various ways as the Staffordshire cut, the Surrey cut off the inside edge, and it's 2 runs down to long leg. Again the slow one, but he waited for that, connected very nicely indeed. Swung it away, square ball pitching about leg stump. For once in a while, Underwood's erring and straying off line there. Sargent very quick to cash in on it. He moves on to 12 now, his second boundary.
Tony Greig, and he's caught it. It's a question of whether or not it came off the bat. Umpire Budd has said no. It's a pretty athletic piece of fielding from Greig. Some shouts from the close-in fieldsman. Greig very much on the alert there. Into the left hand, up in the air, off the waist, and catching it at the 3rd attempt. No movement from Sargent.
Greg Chappell's been there 3 1/4 hours now for his 39. Hasn't yet hit a boundary. A grim, determined game of cricket. Just taking the sting off that. There should be 2 runs, and 2 runs here will bring up the 100 and also make this partnership between these two worth 50. That's a good shot, right off the meat of the bat. That's surely going through for Chappell's first boundary. Fine straight drive over pitch ball from Chris Old. And after a shade over 3 1/4 hours, Chappell finds a boundary for the first time. That wasn't very far away. He's had 1 or 2 rushes of blood, as Craig Sargent. Very little bounce in that ball. He's never got up as high as he anticipated it. Oh, and that was a good ball. Hasn't been a great deal in this pitch, but every now and again, just a little bit of movement off the seam, and Willis making this leave the right-hander.
Craig Sargent. Little inside edge there onto the pad. So Sargent goes to 19. 112 for 2. He's beaten Barlow to bring up his 50. Must be one of Greg Chappell's slowest ever half centuries, but a very valuable one in the context of this game. 212 minutes, and he's hit just one boundary. But he's taken the total on from 25 for 1 when he came in at 12 minutes past 1 yesterday. It was when Robinson was out bowled by Lever, and now it's 113 for 2. Super shot. That's the best shot of Greg Chappell's innings. Safe, but the outside edge between gully and third slip. John Lever, the fieldsman. Lever bowled quite a good spell early on today. Bowled 7 overs for 7 runs. Didn't take a wicket, but was very, very accurate. Good line and length. It was in the course of a very good period for the England bowlers. Lever, Underwood and Old, all extremely accurate this morning. Greg Chappell has got that away down to long leg, and it's too quick for Woolmer. There's a man almost directly in line with that hook shot. That's the substitute fieldsman, Alan Elam. It's out, and it's a loose stroke from Greg Chappell, one of the few he's played, and Chris Old is the man taking the catch. Chappell is out for 66, caught Old, bowled Willis, and Australia are 135 for 3. Big disappointment there for Greg Chappell. He was just starting to flow. But that particular stroke found him, I think we'll see on the replay, quite a distance away from the ball. It was a little bit shorter than he thought. Indeed, it wasn't quite the stroke at which he would have played the drive. And the ball went straight to Chris Old. 135 for 3 now. Sargent is 24. He's number 2 on the board. He has strike. Walters is number 5. Good shot. Well, that was the one he was attempting earlier. That was a glorious stroke from Sargent. It's the attempted bouncer from Chris Old, and it's a well, it's a half front foot hook. Quite an astonishing stroke. 3 slips there, and then there's the orthodox gully, and then rather an odd position for Woolmer. He's in very, very close. This is the setup they provide for Doug Walters in that gully area. And that's the reason they do it.
Well, it's much to Walters' liking. Half volley, a lot of right hand coming into that. Typical Walters shot, clipped away through mid-wicket for 4. Oh, that's a fine shot. 4 from the moment it left the bat. Drop short, cruelly put away there by Walters. So Walters growing in confidence the whole time, and he can't have come into this test match with too much confidence. He'd made his 20s and 30s on this tour, but 38 is top score in England on this tour to date. Oh, and that's it. Oh, what a simple chance dropped. Oh, Braley making a real hash of that, and he won't get many better chances there at slip. Came off at a nice easy pace, if there is such a thing for a slip catch. And Braley completely mystified why he missed it. He's built up a reputation as an excellent slipper. That catch in the outside edge. Bad shot there by Walters, and Braley all the time in the world. Woolmer to Sargent. Short, forced away for the single he wanted. Derek Underwood does the fielding, and Craig Sargent in his first test match goes through to 50. Good test of temperament. He came in at the sticky time. He's weathered the storm. He's batted 205 minutes for this 50, which includes 5 boundaries. So his 50 coming out of 188 for 3.
That's a fine shot. Lovely stroke from Craig Sargent. One of the best he's played throughout the innings, and there's no chance of cutting that off at the far end of the ground. The gap was there between the stumps and the mid-on fieldsman, who had been brought in fairly close to try and save the single. And the 200 goes up for Australia for the loss of 3 wickets, 55 to Sargent and 33 to Walters. Well, there was a shout there from Lever, because he thought for an instant that ball was through. In fact, Walters had clubbed it away past square leg. You won't see a more typical Doug Walters stroke than that. Good shot. There's no man at third man. There should be one there, I think, for Lever, but it's an open gap away from cover point around to gully, and the whole of the outfield completely free for Walters. And I must say that I couldn't possibly be more astonished. Of all the fellas to take the second new ball, I reckon John Lever might have been third on the list. He's already bowled 4 overs in the spell. Got Bob Willis and Chris Old fresh. Well, that's one that's got to be a personal opinion job.
I must agree with Richie Benaud. Quite mystified by these tactics. Oh, that's another fine shot. Volley, a lot of right hand in that, and clipped away beautifully through mid-wicket for 4. Craig Sargent improving here all the time. And he's middled that. Some glorious shots coming now from the bat of young Craig Sargent. The on drive followed by a really perfectly executed off drive. And really swinging the bat. Incredible shot that. More like a Sunday afternoon shot. That wasn't very far short of being a good length outside off stump. And he's worked it away. Full swing of the bat through mid-wicket for 4. Look at that shot. Willis to Sargent. And he's gone. Well, one of the worst balls that Bob Willis has bowled here all day long. Very wide, very short. Sargent going for the square cut. Just getting a faint deflection through to wicketkeeper Alan Knott. So Sargent goes for 81. The 4th wicket is down for 238. And the end there of a really fine century partnership. Well, he'll be disappointed. His first appearance in a test match here at Lord's, out for 81, when he could so very easily have made it into 3 figures. A day to remember then for Craig Sargent, but possibly not the way he was finally dismissed. Very short, very wide. And Alan Knott taking the catch low down. And that's off an edge, high, clear of slips, 4 runs. Slashed the bat off it. Away she went. No possible chance here of a catch. Willis to Walters. And that's edged again, right over the top of slip, and that'll race away for 4 more. And it'll bring a 50 to Dougie Walters. Well, they've been fairly hard to come by for him in this country. This is his 22nd test match innings in England, and he's reached 50 for the 5th time. But it's come in good time, 115 minutes, under 2 hours, and included 7 fours. He tried to bowl a bouncer there, not a very good one. Hooks has lashed it through mid-wicket for 4. And my word, he's caught it. It seemed initially that flicked off the pad. It was off the bat. Walters goes. Willis picks up another wicket. And a fine catch this time by Brearley slip. So Doug Walters out for 53, the 5th Australian out, the total on 256, 40 runs ahead with 5 wickets left. And a disappointment again for Doug Walters after it weathered the early storm, got through to a 50, and he's the type of character who likes to go on to 100 once he gets 50, and very often does. But not today. Snapped up at slip off the bowling of Willis. Chris Hole then right arm over the wicket to the left-hander, and bowling to 3 slips in a gully. It wasn't a particularly good shot. Ball pitched way outside, and he was feeling for it. Very thoughtful David Hooks there. Youngest member of this Australian party. He's just 22. And, wonderful physique, beautifully made for the job. 6 feet, 12 and a half stone. That's another useful ball, that. Chris Hole's not had the best of luck today. He's bowled as well as anybody.
good shot. Nice square drive. It's out. And it's a well-deserved success for Chris Holt. A good lifting delivery. And one that cut away from the left-hander as well. 11 runs to David Hookes. Really the man at slip. Twice making amends now for having dropped Walters earlier. Oh, that's got to be close. Yes, indeed. I'd have thought that was absolutely plumb. Good delivery from Bob Willis. The fourth wicket with his second new ball. Marsh is out. LBW Willis for 1, and it's 265 for 7. There's the replay of that dismissal. Oh, yes. That was middle stump job halfway up. Well, that's well bowled. That almost cut him in two. This really is a spirited effort from these two bowlers, Willis and Old. What a great delivery. Went through waist height, and Alan Knott took it beautifully going away there to his left. That's not far away either. Not just to be an outside off stump there. But, Old has been a bit unlucky here today. Bowled extremely well. Well, O'Keefe and Walker managed to survive to stumps, 278 for 7, a lead of 62 with 3 wickets still standing. A fine innings, and if the England overnight batsmen Woolmer and Gregg could get going, they might set Australia a target later in the day. We join play now in the 5th over. It's Thompson bowling to Gregg, and the score is 198 for 2. There's some good deliveries floating around out there this morning. Walker and now Thompson. That was absolute beauty. Just flicking the pad. Max Walker. There's no chance of him cutting that off. It's racing away down there towards the tavern stand.
That's another good shot. Played that in swinger well, kicked it away through mid-wicket. And this time he's managed to make 3 out of it. And that's it. And Woolmer goes. So Pascoe breaks through, a nice smart catch at slip there by Greg Chappell, and the end of a really fine performance this by Bob Woolmer, a day he'll remember for a long time. He's played really superbly, coming in when Amiss had fallen without a run on the board, and he's made 120 out of 224 for 3. By far his best innings when he's been wearing that England cap. 13 boundaries in his 120 runs, and an innings which has saved England in the second innings. Members in the pavilion on their feet quite rightly, and giving him a very warm welcome back. 5 hours he's been out there. It was a smart catch here, straight into Greg Chappell. Fine slip fielder, unlikely to make a mistake there. An innings of distinctly different character, this from Tony Greig. He's on 47 now. He's been in 2 hours and 20 minutes. The new ball is to be taken at him now. Really let the bat go at that one. No question at all about that. Just dropped short, hammered away square on the offside by Tony Greig. Applause then for Tony Greig, going through to 52. 5 fours in his 50. And Tony Greig coming back to form with the bat at exactly the right time here for England. That's a desperate effort there. Might easily have been picked up round the corner. Barlow again getting well outside off stump and just squirting that in the air, just wide of Pascoe. Really dug that one in. And Barlow unable to control that in any way at all.
Ben Pascoe. It's in the air and 4. Gosh, it's gone very, very fast. And perhaps it's the new bat. Yeah, that a fearful thrash. Well, that one was a little bit luckier. But it has taken Tony Greig now on to 78. Greg Chappell and Rod Marsh keep hammering away at him to bowl a good line and length. He's got plenty of pace, a little bit of extra lift, and he's bowled very well. But when he gets too enthusiastic, then he loses the line and length. Bowled short, and it becomes an over such as this one, where he's very much astray. And that's close and it's out. Must be very, very good decision that. Pascoe has broken through. He's kept the ball up to the bat on that occasion. And Graham Barlow is gone. LBW to Pascoe for 5. It's 263 for 4. Tony Greig is 79 not out. There's the replay. Well, we're behind the batsman, so it's a difficult angle, but I must say it looked to be pretty plumb. That's a good shot. Tony Greig's starting to time the ball now, and not only that, he's looking for the powerful scoring strokes. He's quite prepared to throw the bat at the ball. I think that's got to go down as a chance, particularly as Max looks as though he's got a tear or two running down the side of his cheek. That's a good shot. Very well timed, and Tony Greig has gone off 87 and moves on to 91. It's in the air and it's out. Kerry O'Keefe has caught Tony Greig square driving. Greig is out, caught O'Keefe, bowled Pascoe for 91. Alan Knott is 8. It's 286 for 5. Danny Pascoe has taken his 3rd wicket of the morning. Very big crowd here, but most generous applause for Tony Greig, who came in earlier than usual, batting at number 4 with Randall injured, and also going ahead of Barlow. And he shared in a splendid partnership of 92 with Bob Woolmer. Max Walker. And he's out in exactly the same fashion. Both balls were hit very hard, Greig's and Knott's. It's the first stroke of luck for Max Walker, in that Alan Knott has slashed it straight to Doug Walters, as he did in the first innings. A very firmly hit stroke. Wide ball. And Doug Walters has taken the catch.
Derek Randall has finally appeared at the crease, been pushed down the order, suffering a good deal of discomfort. You can see that fairly enlarged left elbow. He's very swollen, suffering from bursitis in the elbow. So Walker again too old. And he's out. So Walters grabbing another catch at cover, and this really has been a collapse for England. All out without troubling the scorer. Shortish ball cracked off the back foot, but straight into the very safe and capable hands of Walters at cover point. Thompson again from the nursery end here. And that was a good ball. Asking for the catch, and Dickie Bird is saying yes. He wasn't quite sure whether the ball had carried to begin with. So Thompson improving his figures, 2 for 75 now. Randall goes, another nought on the English scoreboard, and that was a particularly useful delivery indeed. Pitched right on a length, lifted a bit, cut away, and was very nicely picked up in the slips. And that touched the wicket and hasn't done anything about it. Lucky Underwood there, and Walker unlucky again. Getting the pad rolling back, not disturbing the bails at all. That swung a considerable amount. So Underwood got the inside edge on it. He gets 2 runs, and those 2 runs bringing up the 300 for England. So that's a very handy landmark for them. 301 now for 8, with Underwood into double figures on 10. Just 2 hours playing time now, plus 20 overs. And it would mean that if Australia scored at a run a minute throughout those 2 hours, they'd have to score about 5 and over off the last 20. And that's edged, and it's taken very safely. So yet another catch for Rod Marsh, yet another wicket for Jeff Thomson. So improving on his figures at the break of 1 for 75, now 3 for 85. And John Lever out for 3, England 305 for 9. And that's it. 2 and 2, and Bob Willis has gone first ball. Rod Marsh takes another catch. England are all out for 305. Willis out, first ball for naught.
And that set Australia a target of 226 in 105 minutes, and the final 20 overs to be bowled. Here's Chris Holt now in the second over of the Australian second innings, and he's bowling to Richie Robinson. And that is a typical stroke from Richie Robinson. He's not meant to be an opening batsman. He's doing a makeshift job here. He's out, caught, and a good catch too. My word, that was a sharp chance to Bob Woolmer. It had to be a reflex catch. It's the first wicket down. Robinson caught it short forward square by Woolmer, off old for 4. McCosker is 1. It's 5 for 1 wicket. So Australia still need 221 to win, now with 9 wickets standing. Bob Willis. Bowl him! So Australia twice now suffering a reverse, and Bob Willis has struck. He bowled so well in the first innings. He's removed McCosker now, who was going to be the sheet anchor. McCosker's gone with a score at 5. Bowled Willis for 1, and that's how it happened. Between bat and pad, once again, exactly the same as in the first innings. And have a look at McCosker's feet. It's a super shot, that one. It was as well executed a square cut as you could find. call and 4 more runs. 11 from the server so far. That must have been within a whisker of removing one or more of those stumps. I think Greg Chappell probably made it into a Yorker, going forward for the drive.
That's a fine shot. Really got into position very quickly there. Bad bounce, a magnificent shot over mid-wicket. And David Hookes goes on from 5 to 11 as a result of it. Very short, right off the meat of the bat. Perfectly timed, the first 6 of this test match into the mound stand. Must have been desperately close if Barlow had hit the wicket. Took a real chance there. Barlow, one of England's finest fielders, swooping on that. And I think Mr. Hookes might have been in a lot of trouble if that throw had hit the wicket. So it's a big task for Australia. They've got to be scoring at almost 6 runs and over. Chris Holt still bowling, Greg Chappell facing. That's short, it's in the air, it should be caught, Lever's under it, and he's made perfectly safe. So that could be the end of any charge by Australia, losing their captain Greg Chappell with the score on 48, caught by Lever off the bowling of Old, and he's out for 24. This could be the fairly vital wicket here this afternoon. Greg Chappell, upon whom the Australians rely so much. Spooning a very simple catch there. The ball, in fact, never quite short enough for him to pull round to mid-wicket. So, dying bravely in the attempt to push the score along. That's he flighted one again. He's got under his loft just out of the reach of Barlow. But again, it was nicely flighted by Underwood. Didn't pick it up as he intended to, but a fairly hard edge on that. Very high, but just out of the reach of the chasing Barlow. That's more to his liking. A shorter one, fine cutter of the ball. Dougie Walters gets 4 for that. That's one spot that you really shouldn't bowl to this man. Immensely powerful on the cut. 166 wanted in 34 minutes plus 20 overs. That's a beautiful ball. And a big shout going up. And Lloyd Budd having absolutely nothing to do with it. And again, what a good over this has been. No luck at all there for Chris Holt. Just a little slow setting off there, Derek Underwood. It was a fraction of a second before I think he realised it was a catch or a half chance coming back, and as a result was never really in a position to take advantage of it.
It's in the air, and that could be out. It'll be a good catch if it's taken, and it is. It's Alan Elam, the 12th man. A fine catch. His Kent teammate, the bowler, Derek Underwood, and Australia 64 for 4 with Doug Walters out. Port Elam bowled Underwood for 10. I think that's got to be missing leg stump. They'd have to straighten up a tremendous amount to the LBW. Left arm over the wicket, and and on that rather exaggerated angle. So out of the question for Australia to win. It's just a question now if England can get through in what will be something like 23, 24 overs. And that's got to be a chance if David Hookes keeps on sweeping in that fashion. He'll just pick up the 2 runs from it. It was a good indication of not waiting for the ball to come onto you. He was through with the shot there, and the ball came off the back of the bat. It's that shot away on the onside. Amos is the man. Oh, what a lovely catch that is. A superb catch by Dennis Amos. If anything, that was better than Alan Elam's. It's 71 for 5, and Sargent is the man out. Caught Amos, bowled Underwood for 3, and Hookes is 26 not out. Australia have to survive now for 3 minutes and another 20 overs. This is a very tense afternoon of concentration for spectators as well as players. It's all happening here at Lord's. Everyone's unmoved, particularly Marsh and Budd. Great shouts from all the players in the field. Bob Warner, the man, diving forward.
Oh, that's a good ball, cut back the other way. So this should be a last and pacey fling from Bob Willis, who's already collected 8 wickets in this match. But that'll bring Hookes 4. Old pitch ball, driven very nicely square on the offside. That's a good shot. Willis dropping short and hooked away powerfully again by young David Hookes. Another boundary to him. He's moving on now to 46. Very free shot there. Whipped away off the back foot through mid-wicket. The Underwood chase just paying off. Catching it in front of the ropes. But 3 good runs there to David Hookes, takes him on to 50. So a second test 50 for David Hookes. Recall he made a brilliant aggressive 56 in the Melbourne Centenary Test. That's short, it's in the air. Willis is going back to chase it, and he's taken the catch. A very safe pair of hands. A disappointed, dejected David Hookes, crashing his bat on the ground. And he made an error which could well have cost Australia this test match. He's the 6th man out for a fine innings of 50. The score's on 102, and there's still a further 9 overs when this is completed.
Barker does a chance. Really must have been badly unsighted there, because O'Keefe was aiming to hit it away on the onside. Brearley may, if he wants to make sure of getting through the remaining 5 overs, may be moved to bring on Underwood at that nursery end. Another bouncer. And in fact, the umpires are having a word. It's a good-humoured word. Well, obviously the query wasn't about how many balls left or anything to do with arithmetic. It was something like Rodney Marsh saying, look here, if by any odd chance I'm permitted to appeal against the light, then I'm doing so. And in fact he got a little touch of Australian experience there, expertise, or you know, some cynics might even say a little con-trick. Anyway, the Australians finished up 112 short with 4 wickets still in hand. Had the game been played out for the full time without that light appeal, no one can say for certain that they'd have retained those 4 wickets. It was a very tight pressure situation, and England played very well after the early flurry from Greg Chappell had rather set them back on their heels. It was a very good test match. I enjoyed the out cricket as much as anything. I thought both sides fielded very well indeed. Some of the catching was excellent. 1 or 2 dropped, but the work in general was very good. The batting, in a word, fragile on both sides, and the bowling very good. Bob Willis, a splendid effort, so too Chris Old, and the 3 Australian pacemen also did a very good job. Well, we're all looking forward now to the Old Trafford Test match, the second in this series. This one very good, honours even in the Lord's Jubilee Test match.
For the next instant.